So, I'm supposed to be getting married tomorrow. White dress hanging in the closet, venue all paid for. Family flying in from out of state. And instead of writing my vows, I'm sitting on my couch shaking, typing this out, because I don't even know how to process what just happened. My fiancé, Mark, and I have been together for 4 years. We met at a friend's barbecue, started dating casually, then moved in together after about a year. He was always the fun guy in our group. Loud, social, always cracking jokes, sometimes a little immature, but I thought it was just part of his charm. We got engaged last summer, on a trip to Colorado. He proposed at the top of a mountain with his whole speech about how he wanted to spend forever with me. I cried, said yes, and really thought I'd found my person. The past year has been all about wedding planning. Stressful, yes, but I thought we were both excited. He complained about details here and there. Why does it matter what shade the napkins are? But he still showed up to cake tastings, venue tours, all of it. Anyway, tonight I was at our rehearsal dinner. Everything was going fine, my family and his family chatting, wine flowing, the usual chaos. Mark was sitting with his groomsmen at the other end of the table, laughing way too loudly. At one point I heard my name, so I glanced over. They were all joking about tomorrow being the big day, and I caught one of them say, "Dude, I still can't believe you actually made it this far." Mark just smirked and said, "Told you I'd win the bet. Easy money." I swear my whole body went cold. His friend Dean laughed and said something like, "Man, you better follow through, otherwise you owe us all." Then another guy joked, "You should drag it out, make it good for the video." I don't think they realized I could hear them. I excused myself, went outside, and texted my maid of honor to cover for me. My hands are literally still shaking as I type this. I confronted Mark when we got home, and at first he brushed it off like, "Babe, it's just stupid guy talk." But when I pressed him, his face changed. He admitted it started as a joke months ago. Apparently his friends bet he couldn't lock me down long enough to actually get engaged, let alone make it to the wedding. And instead of shutting it down, he went along with it. When I asked if he was serious about marrying me, he just didn't answer right away. Then he said, "Look, tomorrow's already planned, let's just go through with it. Nobody needs to know. Nobody needs to know." I feel like my entire relationship was some sick game. I can't even look at him right now. My parents spent thousands to help with this wedding. I've been planning for a year. And suddenly I don't know if I have a fiancé or just a con artist who thought I was a joke. I don't know what to do. Do I call everything off tomorrow? Do I expose him in front of everyone? Do I just disappear? Update 1. So, it's the morning of what should have been my wedding day, and instead of getting my hair and makeup done, I'm sitting in my childhood bedroom at my parents' house, trying not to throw up from stress. I didn't sleep at all last night. Around 2 a.m., I finally called my maid of honor, Jenna, and told her everything. She went dead silent for a full minute, then said, "You're not marrying him." "No way. We'll figure this out." Honestly, hearing her say it out loud gave me some clarity. I packed a bag while Mark was asleep on the couch. Yeah, he tried to crawl into bed with me like nothing was wrong, but I told him I needed space. I grabbed my dress. Not because I planned to wear it, but because I refused to let him or his idiot friends make jokes about it. Then I drove straight to my parents' house. This morning, I woke up to about 47 missed calls and texts from Mark. They range from, "Please don't ruin this," to "You're overreacting," to straight up guilt trips like, "My family will hate me forever if you embarrass me today." Oh, poor baby. Face with rolling eyes. I finally answered one call just to say, "There's not going to be a wedding. Tell your friends they won the bet." He started begging, saying he didn't mean it like that, and that it was just locker room talk. Hung up. Here's the current plan. Jenna and my mom are calling the vendors to cancel what they can. We'll lose some deposits, but whatever. My dad wants to stand at the venue today and tell arriving guests what happened so they don't blame me for the last-minute cancellation. Low-key, I love him for that. Part of me wants to show up in the dress and make an announcement myself. Like, grab the mic and say, "Ladies and gentlemen, the groom made a bet that he could string me along this far. Consider this my RSVP. I decline. But I don't know if I have the guts. Right now, I'm torn between crawling into a hole and blasting him publicly so he can't spin the story. Because I know Mark. He'll say I was a bridezilla or that I got cold feet. I keep replaying the look on his face when I asked, "Were you ever serious about me?" And he couldn't even answer. That silence told me everything. Update 2. I did it. Actually did it. I went to the venue. In the dress. My mom and Jenna were against it at first. They wanted me to just cut my losses and stay home. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that if I let Mark spin this story, he'd make me the villain. I couldn't live with that. So around 2 p.m., when guests were supposed to start arriving, I showed up. People gasped when they saw me like they could tell something was off. I walked straight to the microphone at the front. heart pounding so hard I thought I'd faint. Mark was standing there in his tux, smiling nervously, clearly thinking I had changed my mind. His friends were in the front row, smirking like idiots. I took a deep breath and said, "Thank you all for coming. I know you expected a wedding today, but instead you're going to hear the truth." Dead silence. You could hear forks clinking against plates in the catering area. Then I said, "Mark only proposed to me because of a bet he made with his friends. He wanted to prove he could keep me long enough to walk me down the aisle. It wasn't love, it was a joke." Whispers. Mark jumped up and started stammering. "Babe, that's not true, don't listen." But I held up my hand and said, "Were you serious about marrying me, Mark? Tell them. Right now." He froze. Just like last night. Couldn't even answer. That silence was all the proof anyone needed. People started murmuring. His aunt literally stood up and yelled, "Are you kidding me?" His mom burst into tears. Dean, one of the groomsmen, actually had the audacity to laugh until someone's dad told him to shut up. I finished with, "There will be no wedding today. But at least he won his bet, right?" Then I walked out. The applause that broke out behind me was insane. Like actual clapping. I didn't expect it, but damn, it felt good. Now I'm back at my parents' house, dress hanging in the closet again, but this time it feels different. I'm not the humiliated bride-to-be anymore. I'm the woman who dodged the biggest bullet of her life. And Mark. He's been blowing up my phone non-stop, calling me vindictive and dramatic. His mom even texted me apologizing on his behalf, saying she had no idea. Honestly, I feel lighter than I have in months. Update 3. It's been a week since the non-wedding, and I think I'm finally starting to breathe again. The fallout was bigger than I imagined. First off, the guests. A lot of people stuck around at the venue after I left. My dad told me that the caterers ended up just serving the food buffet style, and half the guests basically turned it into an impromptu party without Mark or his friends. Faced with tears of joy, my side of the family and friends turned it into a she dodged a bullet celebration. Apparently my aunt even gave a toast. Here's to not marrying trash. Mark, on the other hand, didn't handle it well. He tried to corner me in the parking lot of my parents' house the next day, demanding I fix the story because now everyone thinks he's a scumbag. I just told him to leave, and my brother literally walked him off the property. Then came the social media storm. Someone had filmed my speech at the venue and posted it on TikTok. I didn't even know until Jenna showed me. It already had over 200K views by the time I saw it. The comments were wild. Half the internet crowned me a hero. The other half kept tagging it #runawaybride. I was mortified at first, but honestly, it's kind of cathartic seeing strangers validate that I wasn't crazy. As for Mark's friends, the betting crew, word got out fast. Dean's girlfriend dumped him, Randall's fiancé called off their engagement, and Curtis's mom apparently chewed him out so badly he deleted all his socials. Actions meet consequences. Mark's family is split. His mom texted me again, saying she's ashamed of him and hopes I'll forgive her for raising someone who could treat you this way. His dad, on the other hand, called me vindictive for humiliating his son publicly. Sir, your son humiliated himself. And me. I'm staying with my parents for now, taking a week off work to just exist. I've been eating ice cream, watching trash TV with Jenna, and sleeping without nightmares for the first time in months. I don't think I realized how heavy things had felt with Mark until the weight was gone. Do I feel sad? Weirdly, not as much as I expected. Mostly I feel relief. And maybe a little pride. Because I stood up there and refused to let him write the narrative of my life. Update 4. Life after a cancelled wedding is strange. Some days I wake up and feel totally fine, like I've moved on. Other days I'll see something small, like the coffee mug Mark bought me on our first trip together, and it'll hit me all over again. But here's the thing, every day it hurts less. I went back to work this week, and I swear, walking into the office felt like stepping onto a stage. Everyone already knew. Someone had seen the TikTok and it spread around faster than I could blink. For a split second I thought they'd all pity me. But instead, my coworkers greeted me with donuts, flowers, and a card that said, "Better no husband than the wrong husband." I actually cried at my desk, in a good way. Then something unexpected happened. HR asked me if I'd consider giving a resilience talk at our next staff meeting, basically sharing how I handled everything. At first I laughed it off, but now I'm thinking, maybe, if my mess can help someone else, maybe it wasn't all for nothing. Meanwhile, Mark's still spiraling. I found out through mutual friends that he's been telling people I overreacted and ruined his life. Except his own cousin commented on his post with, "She deserved better, bro, own it." He deleted it in minutes, but not before screenshots made the rounds. Karma, baby. And here's a little twist I didn't see coming. Yesterday I got a DM from a girl named Lily. She was engaged to Dean, the same Dean who laughed the loudest during that bet. Thanked me. Said if I hadn't spoken up, she would have walked into the exact same trap with him. She cancelled her engagement too. We ended up talking for hours, and it's wild how similar our experiences were. We're actually meeting for coffee this weekend. Who knows? Maybe I didn't just dodge a bullet, maybe I helped someone else dodge theirs too. As for me, I don't know what the future looks like, but for the first time in forever, it feels like it's mine again. And that feels better than any wedding could. Update 5, Final. It's been 3 months since what was supposed to be my wedding day, and honestly, I can finally say I'm okay. I moved out of my parents' house a few weeks after everything went down and got my own little apartment. It's nothing fancy, just a 1-bedroom with creaky floors and 2 thin walls, but it feels like mine. I hung fairy lights, adopted a rescue cat named Peanut, and it feels good to finally have my own space. Work has been surprisingly good too. I ended up giving that resilience talk at our staff meeting. I was terrified at first, but afterward, 3 different coworkers told me it inspired them to make changes in their own relationships. That floored me. My boss even hinted at a possible promotion opening up soon. As for Mark, I haven't spoken to him since that night. The only updates I get are secondhand. Apparently, most of his old friends distanced themselves after the bet went public. Nobody wants to be associated with that kind of mess. He moved back in with his parents and, according to mutual friends, spends most of his time sulking about how I ruined his reputation. Honestly, not my problem. The biggest surprise has been the messages I've gotten from strangers. That TikTok of my non-wedding speech is still floating around, and I've received DMs from women across the country saying it gave them courage to walk away from their own toxic situations. Some even sent pictures of them starting new lives, new apartments, new jobs, new haircuts. Makes me tear up every time. And me. I'm not dating, not rushing into anything. I'm focusing on myself. Peanut, my little apartment, my friends, my family. Peanut especially has been my little therapist on 4 paws. He curls up on my chest whenever I start spiraling, purrs so loudly it drowns out my thoughts, and even follows me from room to room like he knows I can't be left alone too long. It sounds silly, but this tiny cat has done more for my healing than Mark ever did in 4 years. Thank you to everyone who reached out, supported me, or even just read my story. Means more than I can explain. Purple Heart.